On May 20th, 2013, an EF5 tornado packing 210 miles per hour winds carved a mile-wide path of destruction through Moore, Oklahoma. In 36 minutes of pure terror, it claimed 24 lives, 7 of them children sheltering at Plaza Towers Elementary. How did a fully warned city still suffer such catastrophic loss? On the afternoon of May 20th, 2013, extreme instability combined with strong wind shear over Oklahoma amid a multi-day tornado outbreak. This combination created a classic environment for explosive storm growth. The atmosphere contained enough energy and rotation potential to support violent long-track tornadoes capable of catastrophic damage. Meteorologists at the National Weather Service in Norman stayed ahead of the threat from the morning hours onward and issued warnings that afforded a 16-minute lead time for the city of Moore. For residents on the ground, the day still looked like any other Monday. People ran errands after work. Children returned home from school and headed outside to play. Shoppers browsed store aisles. Drivers filled the highways. And evening plans took shape even as thunderstorms to the west rapidly intensified into something far more dangerous under the darkening sky. The tornado that would become the Moore EF5 was born at 2:56 in the afternoon CDT, just northwest of Newcastle. A funnel descended from the wall cloud and made contact with the ground in rural land outside the town. Almost immediately, the condensation funnel began to expand. It widened from a thin tube into a broad wedge in a matter of minutes, while rain from the rear flank downdraft wrapped around the entire circulation. The result was a massive rain-wrapped wedge whose outer edges blended into the surrounding storm, concealing the extreme rotation within. Observers nearby watched the vortex swell and darken almost by the second. Once on the ground, the tornado took up an east-northeast path. Early damage appeared in the form of snapped power lines, shredded vegetation, and collapsed farm structures. As the miles accumulated, the intensity climbed without pause. The damage path grew wider and the destruction more complete, proof that the storm was rapidly becoming one of the most violent tornadoes of the outbreak. The storm pressed onward across open ground, its track covering roughly 17 miles while advancing at about 21 miles per hour on a course that led straight toward Moore. The wedge kept widening until it reached a peak width of 1.1 miles, with winds inside estimated at 210 miles per hour. Storm chasers on nearby roads filmed the rain-wrapped wall growing taller and broader by the minute, the outer edges still blending into the storm so that the full scale remained hard to judge. Residents farther ahead saw the same dark mass filling more of the sky, the roar rising even before the funnel itself became clear. Then the tornado made a hard right turn and locked onto the city. What had been a rural path now pointed directly at dense neighborhoods, schools, and highways. As the tornado locked onto Moore, Plaza Towers Elementary sat squarely in its track. Teachers and staff moved more than 70 children into the designated interior safety areas, packing them into hallways and bathrooms away from outer walls, the way every drill had taught them. They pressed close as the roar became a physical force. The EF5 winds then struck with such violence that a load-bearing wall simply failed and dropped straight onto the students sheltering beneath it. In seconds, the protected space was gone, crushed under tons of concrete and steel. The rest of the building disintegrated around them, roof torn off, exterior walls erased, leaving only tangled wreckage under black rain. Rescuers and parents clawed into the pile by hand while the storm still howled nearby, shouting names, hauling debris, working through total structural collapse with almost nothing left standing to guide them. 7 children never made it out. The tornado did not pause after Plaza Towers. It drove east through Moore's packed residential grid, chewing through streets lined with homes, churches, and small businesses in a continuous path of ground-scouring force. Winds over 200 miles per hour peeled asphalt from roads and scoured lawns down to bare dirt. Survivors later spoke of an abrupt blackout as debris filled the air so thickly that daylight vanished, turning the world into a howling tunnel of lumber, glass, and twisted metal. Block after block simply ceased to exist. Over 1,150 homes were destroyed outright, many reduced to empty concrete slabs. Thousands more structures, stores, apartments, offices were damaged or obliterated beyond any hope of repair. One family pressed into a closet felt the entire house lift and explode outward, leaving them exposed under open sky, while neighboring roofs cartwheeled past. Another man crawled from a bathtub to find every wall gone and the street unrecognizable for half a mile in every direction. The funnel kept moving, erasing Moore one densely built block at a time. The tornado drove out of Moore's eastern neighborhoods and continued its northeast track toward the Oklahoma City metropolitan area. Even as it left the densest housing behind, it still tore through scattered homes, businesses, and open fields, with winds strong enough to level remaining structures. Spotters watching from a distance noted the funnel beginning to thin and rope out. What had been a broad, violent wedge over Moore narrowed into a more slender column that struggled to maintain contact with the ground. Around 3:33 in the afternoon, the end came. After roughly 37 minutes on the ground, the tornado weakened rapidly and lifted. By 3:35, it had dissipated completely, closing its deadly life cycle. The howling ceased. An eerie silence settled over the path, broken only by the settling of debris and the first distant wails of emergency sirens. Survivors who had clung to life inside the storm now faced the quiet aftermath of total devastation stretching for miles. In the immediate aftermath, first responders and volunteers launched massive search and rescue operations across the shattered city. They combed through mountains of debris hour after hour, locating survivors trapped in the rubble and recovering those who had perished. The final toll reached 24 direct fatalities and 2 indirect deaths. 212 people suffered injuries while damage estimates climbed to roughly $2 billion. President Barack Obama quickly issued a major disaster declaration that brought federal resources to support the recovery effort. In the years that followed, Moore implemented tougher building code changes aimed at protecting residents from similar storms in the future. The tornado path closely echoed that of the 1999 Bridge Creek Moore EF5, deepening the city's trauma as residents confronted a near repeat of that earlier catastrophic event along almost the same route. The 37 minutes that tore through Moore left lasting lessons in preparedness. We remember the 26 lives lost and the resilience that followed. Thank you for watching. Share your stories or tips on tornado safety in the comments.